Hi, and welcome back to Between Two Cruses. I'm your host.
Those freaking pretzel deals, man. Getting stuck in my throat.
So I'm a glass and a half kind of guy.
If you ain't first, you're
You
last.
ain't first or last.
So love all, serve all, and I think that that's something that Michael and I want to do as well. It's like you're almost not even getting any tater tots on your burrito when you get 3.
That's right.
I'm Caleb Kruse, and I approve that message.
Hi, and welcome back to Between Two Cruises. I'm your host, David Denniston, and today we have a very special guest, a presidential candidate. Oh, it's actually Caleb Kruse. Look at that. And I believe you're a vice presidential candidate, Michael?
Yeah.
Awesome. So Caleb,
Yes.
tell us, why should we vote Kruse and Kruse?
Well, if you've been following our Instagram posts over the last couple of days, I think that you'll see a really rock solid agenda. Michael and our goal right now is to just build a deeper family within Trine University, and can't get more deep in family than with brothers, right?
Thank you. So one of your plans you talked about is a mentor-mentee program.
Yeah.
You want to tell us some more about that?
So if you look at the Kettner School of Business, something that they have, it's completely optional for students. Just when freshmen, when they come in, and keep in mind, I'm not a KSB student. This is just what's been relayed to me. Freshmen, when they come in, they have an option to put their name into this mentor-mentee program. They can put their name in to be a mentee, and then juniors and seniors will do something similar, except they'll be putting their name in to become a mentor, and people will get paired together. And outside of that, people they can feel free to pick their own mentors and mentees. And essentially, how I would want it to work in Trine's campus as a whole is to be something where students of a similar background, similar culture, similar major, they can kind of come together and say, hey, I'm a freshman, or I'm going through these different issues. You're someone that I can talk to that knows a little bit more about the campus than I do. And we all know that the jump from high school to college can be pretty dramatic for some people, and this would just be something to help alleviate that, whether you're someone that is a little bit more of a diverse student, or you're an engineer trying to figure out what math classes to take, or say you're a commuter like I was and you just don't know where to go on campus most of the time.
Yes, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
So if you're to win, what would be your day one plan?
The first thing I want to do is figure out who my senators are, figure out who my executive board is. I don't want to be somebody that waits until next semester to start implementing a lot of the things that I want to do. I want to be, figuring out how do we restructure this House of Representatives, like I've been saying. I think right now anybody that goes to the meetings, or anybody that hears people talking about the meetings, that currently they don't do a lot of good for the organizations. It feels like a 5 to 15 minute busy work type of assignment. And I had a meeting with Claire Danner talking about this. House of Representatives currently is set up so that there is some sort of accountability. So we want to do something. So my day one plan would be to start looking at the pieces in my agenda, looking at different things that students are bringing forward to us, and what change can we start doing now. So that way over the summer we can, meet periodically with the senators, have different conversations, see what we can do, and maybe, we can bring a lot of our changes in to that first semester of 2022. And if not, I'd really like to have as much done as possible going into that second semester.
Awesome. So what does a successful term as president look like for you?
I think, one thing that you'll see that has been a really big stride for this term with Blake Gross as president, he did get our budget increased from 60 to 80,000. I think using that, and more importantly, using it well, I think would be a good way to say that we had a pretty successful term. I think getting at least one or two of my main agenda points done, I think would be really awesome. If we could see some breaking ground of a new outdoor basketball court, I think that'd be really cool. I can tell you as the audience right now, I've already talked to several people outside of Trine. As some of you may know, my family's sphere of influence is a little bit bigger around this area, and we have already secured 3 donors that would be interested. Excuse me, my vice presidential candidate just announced it is 4. It's 4.
4.
We have 4 potential donors that would be willing to give to help put this in. So it's not something that we as students have to fundraise. It's not something that Trine people have to fundraise for. But I'd love to get at least 1 or 2 of those big projects done.
Awesome. So now we got another kind of serious question we're going to dive into here.
Yeah.
There's been some controversy. You're a senator right now, and
Mhm.
so you've been that for a year. Around a vote where you abstained to confirm the Gender Sexuality Alliance Network, or GSAN, as an organization. Do you want to tell us something about that?
Yeah. I'm glad you asked, because there's been some questions. There's been some haziness around it. So I'd love to answer that. First off, to give context, I'd say that they're a really great organization, and they help a lot of students on campus be where they need to be. I think it's a great safe space for more diverse students that would need to be in that club. When you look at what happened originally, yes, we abstained. What does that mean? A lot of people have said that meant there's a no vote, and there was some miscommunication in the student government at that time. I know I went and talked to Blake immediately after that, saying, me abstaining was just because, I was unsure. I didn't want to vote yes or no. I just wanted to stay out of it, which is why I voted to abstain. And that's why some people said that the abstaining got retroactively changed, but that's because I wanted my meaning of that vote to be, explained through that. I didn't want it to be viewed as a no vote, and in my opinion it is not. And I think if you talk to anybody else that was there, they would say that I did not vote no, because I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Now, looking back at it, why would we abstain? And that's a great question. I think it deserves to be answered. If you look at another vote that happened last semester, Michael and I were bringing forward the Commuter Club, and we had someone abstain. And I know I asked him, I said, why'd you abstain? And he just said, because he didn't know. He didn't know the implications of the club. He didn't know how well it was going to work. He didn't know certain things, so he decided to abstain. He didn't want to say yes or no, so he just decided to stay out of it. And looking back, I think that this is a very appropriate answer as to what Michael and I did with the GSAN vote. I think to take another step forward, I think if we knew everything that we know now at the GSAN, Michael and I would have voted yes at the original point in time. Because, I don't think that there's anything wrong with having a club that supports the people that are in it now on campus. I think that going into my term, if you look at the Hard Rock Cafe, their motto, love all, serve all, and I think that that's something that Michael and I want to do as well.
Thank you. Questions from the peanut gallery?
Kruse and Kruse. My single question for you is, how is your day-to-day?
Michael?
And would you describe yourself as glass half full or half empty?
That's a great question.
Very interesting. My day today was a normal day for a businessman. Very good. Minimal classes, lots of Fortnite, great time. What was your other question? Glass half full, half empty. I would say I would drink the glass and I would refill it. So I'm a glass and a half kind of guy.
I'd say my day is pretty good. A little stressful, as you would imagine, for an engineering student. I'm just going to answer the question like normal. I would say I'm a glass half full kind of guy.
Empty.
Yes, you there in the back.
So you are the president of the Commuter Club right now, currently.
Correct.
So next semester you'll be living on campus, basically. Are you still going to be the president of the Commuter Club?
So that's a great question. And I'm actually glad that you brought that up. So one thing that Blake has implemented is adding 2 new Greek senators and 2 new commuter senators. So something that Michael and I have planned to do with the introduction of these commuter senators is we want to kind of assist them and help them out in any way that we can. And I think one way that we can do that is by giving them the Commuter Club. I think that that's something that can kind of transition in between senators, so that way they have an area where they can get the allotted $2,000 fund. And then that's something that they can kind of use as a way to engage with all commuters. Because for those of you that don't know, senators have to get 3 engagement events where they engage with the people that they're supposed to be senators to. I know that I got my engagement events by going to different engineering meetings, whether it be the Chemi meeting or the civil ASME, stuff like that. I think that the commuter senators can do that by hosting commuter events through the Commuter Club. I think that that's something that they can be really successful in. Great question, sir.
You there, sir?
Yes. Just going through my notes here, I was interested in how you're going to, you may have already addressed some of this, but specifically how are you going to communicate with the students on campus and off campus and kind of get a gauge throughout your presidency of their desires?
Yeah.
Good question.
Something that, thank you. Something that Michael and I have been a part of actually is the outdoor seating committee. And so something that we did through that, and in theory you should be seeing the survey coming up anytime now. We created a survey to go out to all students. Where do you want outdoor seating? What kind of outdoor seating do you want? And we want to do those Google form surveys. I think that those work pretty well, as long as they're, under a minute to take. I don't really care for surveys that are more than 2 minutes. I think it's a waste of time and it's really easy to get disengaged from that. But I think that campus-wide surveys are something that works. The only tricky part is they do have to get approved by the president's office, Gretchen Miller. So, I think that, maybe it's something where we could be on a pretty close working basis and, crank out a couple surveys. Obviously, I don't want to send out a survey every week. I think that that's a little ridiculous. But, just surveys every now and again, like, hey, what do you want? This kind of thing. I think that Instagram surveys will probably be pretty present on the Trine Student Government Instagram page. And that will actually be, I think, the best way to figure out what students that care want, because the people that care will be following those pages and following our presidency closely. Do we have a question from future treasurer Justin Rohde?
Yes. What inspired the Kruse and Kruse ticket to run? Yeah.
That's a great question. I think when I was thinking about running, it was really just, kind of me stepping up. I don't get paid. There's no real reward for being student government president, actually, other than just doing it, getting to serve Trine, make it a better place. I think that Michael and I are really equipped to represent campus and do that well. I think that Michael and I are really, really happy with how President Gross has run things, and I think that we are the best equipped to continue that and continue those strides.
Thank you.
I'm Caleb Kruse. I'm Michael Kruse, and we approve this message.